Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been asked to do an oil change with the new CTH skids with the filter door. And so today I'm going to show you how easy it is with that filter door. To make this a successful oil change with no mess, there is one attachment that I highly recommend you guys purchase. And I'll show you that piece of equipment or tool which will set you for success in this oil change. So with that said, I'll go ahead and get the necessary tools and start the process. Alright guys, so the tool you'll need to remove the oil pan cover if you're still running the stock skid is a 12 millimeter, and we're going to go ahead and take this out. Alright, so you'll need a 14. Make sure your drip pan is, and that's it. No oil anywhere. And on my drip pan I have this like mesh screen so that it gets rid of the splatter. So you can see there's no splatter. So we'll let that drain, and while that's draining we can start opening the door here.
For the filter.
Set those aside. Now, I don't typically like to run this until that's fully removed, and then I plug it back. But here's the tool that I recommend you buy, and I'll have it in the description below so you can pick it up. And essentially, instead of using that plastic garbage that comes with those filters to poke and drain the oil initially, you buy this thing, and what you do is you thread it in, and then you turn this second piece all the way up, and it'll start draining the oil. And then that's how you can get it so that it doesn't have oil inside your skid. And like I said, I always like to have my work area clean. First thing is we need to take out that little cap. So let me get a longer extension. Now, if you've been doing your oil changes yourself, this piece here is just hand tight. So I've loosened that. I can see that the oil is gone from the drain. So I just like to, the washer didn't come with the bolts, so you have to make sure. And sometimes it's caked on there, so you just need to get like a screwdriver to pry it out. Sometimes these get stuck, so you have to make sure that it comes out. And then get yourself a new washer. And now I'm going to go ahead and already torque that. And that will be 30 foot-pounds. And that's it. Next, there is some residual oil on that cap. And if the O-ring stays on the filter, that's fine. So here's it cleaned. Now we insert this guy. So we screw that. Now I'm turning the bottom piece, and then you can see the oil start dripping. So I'll let that just drip. And you can see no oil anywhere. So this is the key to making it no mess. So we'll let that drain, and then we'll continue. Okay, now that this has pretty much been drained, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. We'll just set it aside there. Wipe any residual, and then get yourself a quality oil filter socket. This is made by MotivTools. And just in case any oil comes out, have your drip pan. There's some significant oil coming out of this, so just like that. And what I'm doing now is just, there's no mess. I'm just cleaning the inside of that filter housing. I'm anal about just making sure everything's clean in those threads. Okay, next thing that I do is I take the filter out. And I just clean this filter. This is about the messiest it'll get, is just cleaning this filter. Now if you're anal like me, here's the old O-ring, and then the other one. Hopefully I'm getting this. I'm not seeing the viewfinder, but new O-ring. What I like to do is grab some oil. Just run it through the filter like this. Put that underneath there. So that's just hand tightened right there, so I don't forget about that. Always have a mat, or in my case I use a cardboard, just in case you get little spillage like that. It's not getting it on your driveway or your garage. Next would be you put your filter, and then I put all the old stuff in this filter box. Again, I just dip my finger and then just make sure that this gasket is just nicely coated. And just like that, O-ring sits there. Okay, then we simply move this out of the way, check the canister, wipe any last minute oil. And I believe this is 18 foot-pounds, so we will switch this to 18. So 20, 18. That's it. And lastly, we tighten that last screw, and your oil change is done with little to minimal mess. And I don't like to put the cover on until I put the oil back, start the car just to make sure I don't see any oil spilling. So I'll take you up top as we fill it with oil. All right, guys, as you know, our 4Runners take 6.6 quarts. So I have a 5, a 6, and then I have a little bit left on another bottle. So another tool I recommend is getting this funnel by Motiv. It screws into your oil filler there, and it just makes everything mess free. So I will just open this new container. What I like to do is I like to put a rag just like that in case anything spills out. So we tighten the drain plug, put the filter back on, and I like to tilt it this way and pour slowly. So all this will go in. So there's 5. This is 1 quart. This will be 6. And before I put the 0.6, what I like to do is check the dipstick. I always go off of the dipstick. Sometimes 6, and there might be some still oil in there, I don't know. Usually gets me at the 6.6 mark, which is in the middle of the dipstick. So we do 6 quarts and then we check dipstick. And it looks like we're good. So this is exactly why I typically just put 6 and we check, because we're almost at the very top. So I'm not sure why sometimes I don't need that 0.6. Maybe there's a residual inside. But yeah, the other thing now that I like to do is in the dipstick, you'll have this O-ring, and I like to just go to dip my finger in the new oil and just coat that dipstick, so when you pull it, it's not so hard. And I do the same with the rubber that's on the cap. Yeah, I just rub it with clean oil. That way, when I put this in, it slides in nicely. So now we can remove this. And that's how I keep it at. Don't forget to cap. And that is it. So next thing now we do is we start the car and we check the oil. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching.